My fiancé declared, "My past is off limits. You're not allowed to ask questions." I responded, "Got it." Then I began to withhold sharing my present and future with her as well. Her panic when she realized a one-sided relationship doesn't work was evident. I'm a 31-year-old man, and I've been with my fiancé, who is 29, for 3 years. We got engaged 8 months ago, and our wedding is set for next spring. Until about 6 weeks ago, I truly believed I was marrying my best friend. We discussed everything, and I mean everything: career ambitions, family issues, awkward college stories, you name it. So, what changed 6 weeks ago? I asked a perfectly normal question. We were sorting through old photos for a wedding slideshow that her mom wanted to create. She was sharing pictures from college, reminiscing about her sorority days when I spotted a picture of her with a guy, his arm around her shoulders, both smiling. I pointed at it and asked, "Who's that?" Her entire demeanor shifted. It was as if someone had flipped a switch. "That's nobody." "Okay, but is he an ex?" "A friend." She abruptly closed the photo album. "I don't want to discuss my past relationships. Actually, I wanted to bring this up. My past is off limits. You're not allowed to ask me about it." I just stared at her. We had talked about exes before. I knew about her college boyfriend, her situationship after that, and a brief fling with a musician. She was aware of my 2 serious exes. This had never been a no-go zone between us. "Since when?" I asked. "Since now. I'm setting a boundary. You need to respect it. Now, I'm not the controlling type who demands a full background check on my partner. But this felt strange. Really strange. We're getting married. We've shared everything. And now suddenly there's a part of her life I can't access." I tried to have a rational conversation. "Can you help me understand why? Did something happen that you're not ready to talk about? I can give you time if..." "No, it's not about time. It's about boundaries. My past is my past. It doesn't affect us. You need to accept that, or we have a problem." The ultimatum: accept total silence about her entire history or face issues. Fine. I accept it. But here's the thing about boundaries: they work both ways. "Got it," I said. "I'll respect that completely." She seemed pleased, even relieved, as if she had achieved something. She had no clue what she had actually agreed to. Over the following days, I began to establish my own boundaries. Nothing drastic, nothing obvious. I just stopped sharing. She asked what I was doing this weekend with my friends. "Oh, just stuff." She inquired about a work call I had been on for an hour. "Just work things." She wanted to know what my mom said during our phone call. "Family stuff." At first, she didn't notice. Then she caught on and became annoyed. "Why are you being so vague?" "I'm not being vague. I'm just keeping some things to myself. You know, like how you have things you keep to yourself. That's different." "How?" She couldn't respond because there wasn't an answer. Either we share or we don't. You can't demand access to someone's present and future while shutting them out of your past. That was 3 weeks ago. Things escalated. Let me explain what happened next. Update 1. 2 weeks later. So, the silent standoff continued. Every time she asked about my plans, conversations, or thoughts, I mirrored the same energy she gave me, polite but empty. "What did your sister want when she called?" "Just sister stuff." "What's that email about?" "Work stuff." "Where are you going?" "Out on Saturday." She was going crazy, which I must admit was somewhat satisfying, but I wasn't doing this to be petty. I was making a point. If she wanted a one-sided relationship where she got full access to my life while I got nothing from hers, she needed to see how that felt. About a week into this, she tried a different tactic: the emotional appeal. "I feel like we're disconnected," she said one evening after dinner. "Like you're pulling away from me." "I'm not pulling away. I'm just respecting boundaries, just like you." "But you're being cold." "I'm being private." "There's a difference. You taught me that." She didn't like that at all. The next day, she tried anger. "You're being passive-aggressive." "Nope. Just private." "This is absurd. I'm asking about your day, and I'm giving you perfectly acceptable answers. Just stuff or work things. These are all answers you'd find completely reasonable if I gave them about my past. But suddenly, when it's my present, you need details. That's different. You keep saying that word. I'm genuinely curious what you think makes it different." She opened her mouth, shut it, and walked away. Then came the family intervention. Her mom called me. Now, I had always gotten along with her mother. Nice lady. Overbearing at times, but generally pleasant. This call was anything but pleasant. "My daughter says you've been distant and cold." She's very upset. I've been respecting her boundaries about privacy. I assumed that extended both ways. What are you talking about? She told me her past is off limits, so I made my present off limits. Seems fair. Long pause. That's incredibly immature. She's your fiancée. She deserves to know what's happening in your life. And I'm her fiancé. Don't I deserve the same? Her past isn't relevant to your future together. Then my present isn't relevant to her either. You're twisting things. A woman is entitled to her privacy regarding her past relationships, and a man isn't entitled to privacy about his present. Interesting double standard you've got there. That's not it's exactly what you said. Look, I respect your daughter. I respect her enough to give her exactly what she asked for. If she wanted openness, she'd have openness. She wanted walls. She got walls. She called me childish, said I was punishing her daughter over a simple boundary, and hung up. Cool. Good talk. My fiancé came home that night absolutely furious. You told my mother about our private issues. She called me. Was I supposed to lie? You made me look unreasonable. I genuinely laughed. You are being unreasonable. You want a marriage where I share everything, and you share nothing. That's not a partnership. That's a hostage situation. She began to cry. Why can't you just let this go? Why can't you just trust me? I did trust you for 3 years. Then you told me I'm not allowed to ask questions about your own life. And now you're upset that I'm matching your energy. You can't have it both ways. She slept in the guest room that night. The next morning, I noticed her phone buzzing on the kitchen counter while she was in the shower. I wasn't snooping. The screen just lit up with a notification. A text from someone labeled "Do Not Answer" in her contacts. I didn't read it. I didn't touch her phone, but I made a mental note. Who saves someone's number as "Do Not Answer," but doesn't just block them? That same day, her sister showed up unannounced. She walked in like she owned the place. We need to talk, she declared. Do we? You're being ridiculous about this whole thing. She has a right to her privacy. Agreed. And I have a right to mine. It's not the same thing. Saying that repeatedly doesn't make it true. Her sister actually stamped her foot in a full-on temper tantrum. She's protecting herself. She's been hurt before. What does safe mean exactly? She gets to hide things from me indefinitely, but I'm supposed to be an open book? That's not safety, that's control. God, you're such a typical guy, always making everything about you. This is literally about me, about whether I get treated as an equal partner or as someone entitled to less honesty. Sorry if that makes me typical. She attempted guilt. She's been crying every night. Is that what you want? To make her miserable? I want a mutual relationship. I want to marry someone who believes I deserve the same respect she demands. If she can't handle that, maybe we shouldn't be getting married. That hit hard. Her sister's face went pale. You'd really call off the wedding over this? I'd call off the wedding over the principle behind this. Yeah. She left. My fiancé returned home 2 hours later, looking like she had been crying for days. You're thinking about canceling the wedding. I'm considering whether I want to marry someone who sees me as less deserving of honesty than she is. I'm not hiding anything bad. Then why hide it at all? Silence. Long, painful silence. There are things in my past that are complicated. Things I'm not proud of. I didn't want them to change how you see me. Now we were getting somewhere. Finally, some honesty. What things? I can't tell you. Then I can't marry you. Not like this. I grabbed my keys and wallet. I'm going to stay at my brother's for a few days. I think we both need space to figure out what we really want. She grabbed my arm. Please don't leave. Please. I love you. I love you too. But love isn't enough when trust is one-sided. Figure out what matters more to you. Keeping secrets or keeping me. You can't have both. Update 2. The truth emerges. I stayed at my brother's for 4 days. He was supportive but also straightforward, which is what I needed. Either she's hiding something significant, or she has some control issues. Both are problems. I know. So, what's your actual plan? Wait to see if she chooses transparency or secrecy. And if she chooses secrecy, then I saved myself from a marriage built on sand. During those 4 days, my phone was flooded with messages. Texts from her, calls from her mom, ignored, calls from her sister, also ignored. Her friends reached out on social media, claiming I was being cruel. One of them even said I was emotionally abusing her by withdrawing. That made me laugh out loud. Me asking for basic mutual honesty is abuse? Her demanding total access to my life while offering none. What is that exactly? On day 3, something noteworthy happened. My buddy, who works at a bar downtown, texted me. Hey man, not trying to start drama, but your girl was here last night with some dude. Looked real cozy. Just thought you should know. My stomach dropped. I asked if he could describe the guy. Tall, dark hair, looked wealthy. They were arguing mostly, but then she was crying, and he was holding her hand. I thanked him and sat with that information for a while. She could be meeting anyone. It could be an old friend, could be innocent, but combined with the do not answer contact and the sudden secrecy about her past? Yeah, the picture was becoming clearer. On day 4, she showed up at my brother's place. Please come home. I'll explain everything. I need you to promise you won't leave. I can't promise that until I know what I'm promising to accept. She took a deep breath. There's someone from my past. Someone I was involved with for a long time. Longer than I told you. I waited. It wasn't a relationship exactly. He was married. There it is. The thing in the vault. For how long? For years. On and off. It ended before I met you. I swear. For years as someone's affair partner. Not a fling. Not a mistake. For years of conscious choices. For years of lying to someone else's wife while that wife probably sat at home wondering why her husband seemed distant. Is he the person saved as do not answer in your phone? Her face turned pale. How do you? Doesn't matter. Is it him? Yes, but I kept it there to remind myself not to answer. It was like a warning label. A warning label you apparently ignored 3 nights ago. That was different. He reached out first. He's getting divorced. He wanted to tell me in person that he made a mistake choosing her over me. And you thought, hey, my fiancée and I are in a crisis about trust. Perfect time to meet up with my married ex-affair partner at a bar. I didn't think about it like that. That's the problem. You didn't think. I felt something break inside me. Not my heart, exactly, but more like the last thread of trust one had been holding on to. So, your response to our relationship issues was to meet with your married ex-affair partner who's suddenly available? I told him no. I told him I was engaged and happy. Were you happy? She couldn't answer. I need to know something, I said. And I need you to be completely honest. Have you talked to him since we got together? The pause told me everything. Just a few times. Nothing inappropriate. Just catching up. 3 years. She'd been talking to this guy for 3 years while we built a life together. I want my ring back. What? The engagement ring. I want it back. You can't just... I can and I am. This is over. We're done. She completely broke down, sobbing, pleading, promising to cut all contact, swearing it meant nothing. I'll delete his number right now. Look. She grabbed her phone. See? Deleted. It's done. He's gone. That's not the point anymore. Then what is the point? I made a mistake. The mistake was 4 years long. The mistake continued for 3 more years behind my back. The mistake was meeting him last week while we were in crisis. And the biggest mistake was thinking you could demand total transparency from me while offering none yourself. I was going to tell you eventually. When? After the wedding? After kids? When exactly was the right time to mention that you spent years as someone's affair partner and never fully cut contact? She didn't have an answer. That's what I thought. I let her cry because I'm not heartless. But my decision was made. The next day, I went back to our apartment while she was at work. I packed my things, anything that clearly belonged to me, anything I had bought, any gifts I had given that I had receipts for. I left her belongings exactly as they were. I wasn't trying to be vindictive, just thorough. I placed the ring on the kitchen counter. Technically, I could have kept it since I paid for it, and the engagement was off due to her actions. But honestly, I didn't want it. Didn't want anything that reminded me of what I thought we had. The voicemails that followed were something else. Rage, grief, then bargaining. Her mom called me a monster. Her sister said I'd regret this. Her dad, who I actually respected, left a message saying he was disappointed and that real men don't run from complicated situations. Real men also don't marry women who maintain secret relationships with married men. But sure, I'm the problem here. The best voicemail was from her mother's second call. You're going to die alone. No woman will ever put up with your unrealistic expectations. My expectation was literally, tell me the truth about your past. If that's unrealistic, the bar is in the basement. I didn't respond to any of them. Update 3. 6 months later, final update. I wasn't going to post again, but people kept asking for closure, so here we are. The breakup was messy. She tried to keep my things, then claimed I had taken hers. Fortunately, I'm not an idiot. I had photos of everything I packed with timestamps. Her lawyer. Yes, she got a lawyer, backed off when he saw the documentation. The apartment lease was in both our names. I could have fought it, but honestly, I just wanted out. I paid the early termination fee, took the hit to my credit, and moved on. Sometimes a clean break costs more, but saves more in the long run. For about 2 months, there was a smear campaign. Her friends posted vague things online about toxic men and emotional manipulation. Her mother apparently told extended family that I had abandoned her daughter right before the wedding because I couldn't handle a strong woman. The irony was thick enough to cut with a knife. I literally just wanted equal treatment. I never responded publicly. Never named names. Never told our mutual friends what actually happened unless they specifically asked me directly. Most of them did ask eventually. When they heard the full story, the tide turned. Not dramatically. This isn't a movie, but enough that I stopped being the villain in people's minds. A few of her friends even privately apologized for the vague postings. One of them actually said, "I only heard her side." Wow. Yeah, I'd have left too. The wedding deposits were a mess. Non-refundable venue deposit, $3,000 gone. Photographer, $1, $500 gone. Her family had covered most of it, and they demanded I reimburse them. I consulted a lawyer just to be safe. His response, "You're not married. There's no legal obligation. Tell them to take a hike." So that's what I did politely. Her mother sent me a 4-page letter about how I destroyed her daughter's life and ruined the family financially. I kept it, not because I care about her opinion, but because if they ever try to take me to small claims court, I want documentation of the harassment. As for the married guy my ex had been involved with, his divorce got messy. Apparently, his wife had suspicions about my ex for years. She hired a private investigator during their divorce proceedings. The PI found enough to destroy any alimony claims he had been hoping for. It turns out he had been using their joint credit card to buy gifts for my ex during the affair. Hotels too. The wife's lawyer had a field day. How do I know this? Because his now ex-wife reached out to me, not to be vindictive or to bond over shared trauma. She found old messages where my ex mentioned me and wanted to confirm I wasn't the guy her husband had been worried about. Apparently, there was some jealousy that my ex had moved on to someone new. We talked for about an hour. It was surreal but clarifying. This woman had spent over a decade with a man who cheated on her for 4 years of it. My 3 years felt like a paper cut compared to her wound. I asked if my ex and her ex were now together. She laughed bitterly. For about 2 months. He moved in with her pretty quickly, actually. She was thrilled. Finally had him all to herself. Then he started working late again. Found messages to some girl from his office. Leopards and spots, you know. She didn't see that coming? Apparently not. Or maybe she thought she was special, that he cheated with her but would never cheat on her. Classic mistake. So my ex got what she wanted, the unavailable man who finally became available. Only to discover that a man who cheats with you will eventually cheat on you. Poetry writes itself sometimes. Last I heard through the grapevine, she's back living with her parents. The apartment she shared with him was in his name, and when things blew up, he wasn't exactly generous about the timeline for her moving out. She had burned bridges with most of her friends who sided with me, and the ones who stuck by her were apparently exhausted from 3 years of drama. Do I feel bad for her? A little. She's a human being who made terrible choices and is now living with the consequences. But do I feel responsible for helping her? Nope. That stopped being my job the moment she chose secrets over partnership. As for me, I'm doing okay. Not great, not terrible. The trust issues are real. I'd be lying if I said otherwise. I second-guess things more now, wondering what I'm not seeing, but I'm also clearer on what I want. Someone who views transparency as a gift, not a threat. Someone who understands that real intimacy means knowing the ugly parts, not just the highlight reel. My brother asked me recently if I regretted how I handled it. The matching her energy thing, the not sharing my present. No, I said, because it worked. It showed me exactly who she was. If I had just accepted her boundary, we'd have gotten married. I'd have found out the truth eventually, maybe after kids, after mortgages, after years of building something on a cracked foundation. She gave me the exit sign early. I just had to be stubborn enough to read it. He raised his beer to stubbornness and self-respect. I corrected him. Same thing. For everyone asking for advice, I don't know if my approach would work for everyone. Some boundaries are legitimate and healthy. Not everything needs to be shared. But when someone demands access to your life while refusing to grant the same, that's not a boundary. That's a wall. And walls don't belong in partnerships. Trust your instincts, match energy, and don't hesitate to walk away from anyone who thinks they deserve more from you than you deserve from them. That's it. That's the end. Thanks for following along. Stay safe, stay smart, and stay stubborn when it matters. Peace.